connected with each gadget. And wherever you have a network, the gadget will automatically connect. So where there's no network, yeah. So where there's no network,
to the witness,
where there's no network,
you have to pay attention. I'm the one conducting this here. Okay? Yeah.
We gotta protect the witness.
The issue here is when there is no network. So please address that. Tell us the procedure.
So where there's no network, the system stores all the data onto the gadget.
How?
We are capturing information, simple information, your photo, your fingerprint, your name, and all the necessary information. So it's stored onto the gadget.
Okay, so you have, you say gadget, so you have this tablet, right? It has a memory,
yeah.
Right? You go to back in when there's no network.
Yeah.
You take the pictures, you take all the information, and you go to SASTAN when there's network, you upload it. Is that what you're saying?
Actually, what is happening is that we are issuing cards as we do your data, right? So where the network is needed is for deduplication.
It's for what?
Deduplication. To find out if one person have registered more than one time, right? So that's where the checks are needed. So what we do in our instance is that when we collect the data, the first set of data that will be collected will be stored onto the network, onto the gadgets, and then when the second data is entered in, it's checked automatically to see if that person has been registered before. So you wouldn't need a network. You wouldn't need a network to interact with the system where you need to upload up to the car. But the gadget is built for a self-check automatically. So network or no network is do the dots self-check.
The presiding is confused. Go ahead.
Again, are you saying this is the gadget? For the gadget to read the car, I don't need network.
You got a memory card. You don't
One
need
second. Let me take my ATM card. One second.
a memory card. You don't need.
This is my card. Are you saying the gadget that's going to be used as of when people are displaying their card in terms of usage? If I present this card, I just need to put on the gadget somewhere that does not need any network and will read my card? Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so let us let us take it step by step. The first thing is we are doing voter registration. That's the first thing. And in voter registration, we are collecting data. That's all we are doing, right? So we are collecting data. What you are talking about is the outcome of the voter registration.
Is the usage of the card.
Now I'm saying is the outcome of the voter registration. That's what you're talking about. So for now, our focus is to make sure that our role is completely free of duplicates. That's our first focus. Voter registration, have our role credible, ready for elections. So that's the first thing is to capture all the data and make sure that one man, one card.
Information. You still have information.
I gotta listen to Honorable.
Yeah. The experts still talking. Let's deal with the expert first.
No, but everybody have a question.
The question has not been answered yet.
Well, I'll follow up and then we speak.
I want to ask.
I will recognize the presiding.
I want to know whether if you want for the Nigeria people to register.
That's the question though.
If the Nigeria people want, you want for the Nigeria people to register. I question. You got to answer the question first.
Honorable Presiding, co-presiding, members of this body,
The answer to that question is that not only do we want the people in the interior to register, we are prepared for the whole of Liberia, eligible Liberians, that is from 18 years above, to register. And we have put in place the mechanism for that to happen. The question I think that probably raising some real concern is that there are two things. We are conducting voter registration. The second thing is that we will be conducting elections. We are not in the elections phase, we are in the voter registration phase. The difference between the two systems, that the one we've used in the past and the one we are about to use, the one in the past, you sit down, you take your photo, there's a form, they capture all your data and put some of it on your voter card, and then you get your laminated card and you go. But the data there is also captured and stored. This time we say you have the fingerprinter. You put your 2 thumbs on it, it captures your individual information. When you're done, you get your card on the spot, meaning that all of your data that has been captured, including those that are put on the phone.
Information, critical information, very serious information.
Honorable Nimalo, did you have information or you have a question?
Question.
Okay, information.
My commission. Firstly, let me say I appreciate and want biometric.
We want information.
Yeah, information. The information here is that without network, your gadgets are not going to communicate with your server. And so, if there is no network, you can register or duplicate yourself in 3-4 gadgets and it will not be determined. That is the point. If you take this gadget that you are using, you can register me. And the funny thing, the worst thing is, as soon as you register me, you are giving me the ID. I mean, from here, I go to Boao, and you are using a lot of gadget without network service. Somebody there can also register. By the time you get to network, before this information is revealed to the server, it is already late. Duplication has been done. So my question is, how do you avoid duplication? So, I mean, you are going to do duplication without network.
To the extent that he stated the issue of network, the issue of the question is suspended. I think, Madam Chair, let me summarize what the good laws are struggling with. I understand you are saying we are dealing with voter registration and elections, but we cannot separate the two.
That's the thing that
I
leads
think we
to
conversation begin with the end in mind. The end is you want these people to vote. Okay? And the question is, I think you're having a tough time if you cannot explain it so we can understand it, then the perception. Because if I register, okay, in a non-network area, you get to somewhere where there's a network, you begin to upload, and something funny happens that says I registered twice. You want to delete me from the system, right? It affects my ability to register. Meanwhile, I have only a voter registration card, thinking I have registered, but your system already have indicated that there is a duplicate registration. And when I'm saying this, it is an issue of everything has to be done simultaneously and completed simultaneously for the system to be perceived to be fair and credible, and that's how you feel it is. But go ahead.
Can I make a suggestion?
A suggestion to me?
Yes, sir.
We were looking for answers. Suggest.
You wanted to suggest.
Observation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Presiding. Observation.
Yes, observation.
Mr. Presiding.
fellow colleagues, my observation is, reading from the presentation of our witness or witnesses, it suggests to me that it is the administrators that are here, but the real technical people handling this matter are absent. And if I were to suggest to this body, we could postpone this hearing and let the chairman come back with a full team. Let's understand what it is. Because it is us that must determine, the presiding and colleagues, if this is going to benefit the Liberian people. Other than that, they may have to think and do otherwise. I'm not getting anything from this conversation with the presiding.
Honorable Atore.
Okay, so I will do it in one
Observation first, I seem to be corrected.
You didn't ask a question. So say your first part.
The first part, Honorable Presiding, distinguished colleagues, to my knowledge, and I stand to be corrected, Mr. Flosser is one of the technical persons there, and for the sake of our curiosity, maybe we'll ask him to explain his role at NEC. Maybe it has changed, but in my mind, he being one of the technical persons, he may have answers to our inquiries.
That has to be sustained, because the point here, Honorable Nimale, is they got a letter, they know what the issue is. If the next people who come here could not explain, I don't know if it will skip over the administrators and say, go bring technical person. And I think she's right after the qualification of Mr. Floyd, who is a commissioner. So you people just have to explain to us, and explain to the members, this concern about network and no network. I think that's what we're doing.
And the issue. That being the rule, Mr. President, then I can ask my question now, right?
Yeah, you can ask your question. Honorable Nimale.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues. Madam Chairperson, it is widely speculated, especially by the front page Africa newspaper. And we take interest in that speculation that even the team that is constituted to evaluate the base, they now have the technical know-how to handle the matter under consideration. Further than that, more than that, it is believed that the NEC, as we speak, still lack people with the technical know-how as far as biometric system is concerned. You know, and so my question is, are there plans by the NEC to seek technical assistance from our partners to the extent that there will be other technicians with vast experience and knowledge of what is about to happen in our country to assist you? My second question is, Madam Witness, we witnessed in time past throughout all of the elections we have had here, voter registration has always been 1 month period. And even when the 1 month finishes, we have always had additional 1 or 2 weeks.
Was that part of the communication?
Now that today you are saying it's 20 days.
Let's deal with your first question. Okay. Let's finish that part. Let's deal with the first question.
Okay.
The question is the issue of technical capacity and assistance. No, we'll deal with it, but let's deal with it orderly, please. Because the issue of the election timetable, that's a whole other discussion.
No.
We'll have it, but let's finish with this aspect. Proceed.
Honorable Presiding, my response to the inquiry is that in the procurement process, we did have the capacity to conduct that process for biometric voter registration. The second part is that in my introduction, I said that we have gone through the various sub-regions to learn their systems, that is the election management bodies. and that the Commission will be inviting consultancies to help it to conduct biometric voter registration. We also have assistance from UNDP to help us on the technical management as well as administrative processes to conduct biometric voter registration. Thank you.
Honorable Margaret.
Thank you, Honorable Acting Speaker, distinguished colleagues. Honorable Deputy, I'm still worried about the answer. Like my colleague rightly said, we come from the telecommunication background. So when you're telling us like Soy Polo or Joblin Town, when they never have network before, and they have to go there to do a biometric registration. I thought you were going to be telling me like, okay, we're going to have a drone in the air to support us and do other things. We're all area working with it now. But you're telling me it will be done, it will be done. Yeah, we all want it to be done. But please, you went to the region. Can you please tell us what you found out when they don't have network in an area? How did it work for them? Because it's our concern. Like my Mary said, the people we deal with there, they don't even, first of all, you're going to take 1 hour to register them because they will not understand you and you have to have patience. Before I said no network. Please, let's explain that process. Let's understand it first.
Like we said, one of the things we've learned is that when you are using electronics, you also have the manual in place. This is something that we are adapting. Thank you.
The answer is not because you like the answers.
Nobody get it?
The answer suggests manual and electronic.
So the answer suggests that we are doing both manual and biometric.
Electronic and biometric?
Everywhere in the world now, especially in African countries, as I have seen. I'm just from Kenya witnessing observing the elections there.
Yeah.
Though they have the biometric system going, they also have the manual aspects of the manual running, so that you will be able to capture the data in time of the registration period. And then after, you will be able to send the data via the cloud, as we say, to the server. Those two things run near parallel.
Okay, so follow up. Are you saying you're going to save the information on the gadget, and then when you get to a network area, then you send it in?
Definitely.
Yeah, then now we're getting there, so if it's not going to be done right away, in case. Okay, then what happens if I have done it 2 times? So what happens if I register 2 times?
When they get to the network, they will kick you out of the system.
Then they kick me out of the card, they stay with me. How would it
That's not true.
Then when you go close, they will reject your card.
Okay, for the next thing is a national issue, and we're going to a major election. If the actors cannot properly explain to us to be convinced, then what happens with people that are out there?
Remember, you have not been recognized, please.
All right, sorry, let me be recognized. I'm sorry, yeah, you here today, you hear all the talk, nothing here to convince you.
Witness.
All right.
To the witness. Biometric voter registration is something that we've been looking forward to since 2003. I've heard you say that you listed several places you visited, and we are counting on support from the UNDP and other technical consultancies, as you said. My question to you is that you've been planning this for some time. Training. What do you have in place for training for the people who will be working with these technical consultants, and given the time period that we have to conduct the voter registration process? I would like to know what have you put in place for training for the Liberians that will actually be conducting this voter registration. Thank you, Mr. President.
Honorable Presiding, members of this body, every elections we have, whether they're by-elections or whether they're general elections, training must go on before those elections. This is in place for the biometric voter registration. What this means is that when the equipment comes, the training of the temporary staff that will be using them will go through training in terms of simulation that is hands-on to know how to use those printers and what have you. Thank you.
Honorable Rosanna Shah.
These are here.
Remember age, right?
Honorable Presiding, my question to the witnesses is still with the absence of network. We who represent constituencies in rural Liberia are very keen to ask the pertinent questions of the access to network. My 5 years here, I have gone between the two existing networks, and I was shocked when our witness mentioned the telco. Because last year we passed something for the telco to become functional, and up to now it is zero. So I don't think we should even mention the telco here when we don't feel their presence. So for the explanation I want to carry back to my people is how the tablets or whatever gadgets you all have, how long will it take, where do our people have to move, who will reach to those far to reach areas. Because for the issue of biometrics, I will welcome that because it stops all of this extra spending or registration over and over. So if we have a national database for each citizen, then it will save money for other things than always registering every 6 years or all of that. So my question here is the issue of access to network. Thank you.
Motion to extend. Honorable Colonel Smith.
But you don't do my age, huh?
You know, I'm only by the people who haven't spoken.
But I'm just making the question.
Okay, after the
observation, we agree that they will answer network problem. Answer the question.
Mr. Presiding,
No, sir,
Mr. Presiding, my distinguished colleagues, I have a few concerns here, and one the commission listen to this, please. Mine has to do with preservation.
Information, Mr. Presiding. Information. My information is we have agreed that the commissioner is going to speak to questions as they are being posed.
So when you went to
the reason Honorable Shak brought the issue of network again is because she has not gotten the desired or necessary clarification. Will you please allow Mr. Flo or the commissioner chair to speak to that in simple English that we are not technicians?
Mr. Presiding, I said that, but let us not allow this. You are filibustering. Oh, you know what is that?
I know we got too much.
Presiding, to you until they speak about one issue.
Yes. So what we'll do, finish your question, we'll go back, man, the answer the issue, the literary issue of the network, and then we'll answer
thank you.
The answer
Thank you. That is really good too. Anyway, my information inquiry has to do with just what was said just to what was said. Yes, the question is, my recognition, like I said earlier before I was disrupted, I was concerned about preservation. We are now understanding that because of the limitation or lapses in network, these information will be in the possession of individuals, if I may. Because the processing there's no server, there's no a network that is tasked into that another technical analysis can access. So this is where I will give you a chance to confer with you. So this is where the concern is, because we have had history in this country that has to do with responsibility, of storing important information such as the one we are talking about. And let me help you a little bit to give you a little information that might be helpful. When I said preservation, I was speaking directly into prevailing issues already we have, assisting with the national ID card. And I beg you, I will ask my colleagues to please. The national ID card has been compromised. How? Because of the IT person, the technical person assigned to it. I'm saying this because it has been proven. I'm not insinuating anything here. The fact remains is that the IT person took the ID card instruments that is assigned to each county, took that upon himself over the weekend and brought it into another county and started producing ID. I won't want to go too far with the disposition of that case, but I think when I talk about preservation, this is where I'm going with this, because this process is not instant. Had it been instant, I would have no problem with that, because if there's questions inquiry tomorrow, it will be accessed by other means. But these are information that are going to remain solely with an individual that will walk from one village to another village. I think I have a problem with that. I just wanted to register that. Thank you, Representative.
I hope you understand where the individual, the gentleman is coming from. So you go in a network area and you capture data and you unload it. What is stopping someone now at some point from taking the same device and capture data that he claims he got from another network area and unload it on his system? I mean, it's the question of, there's something troubling here. Go ahead and answer the question.
Honorable President.
And please, answer the question. Be cognizant of Honorable Sibo's request that it be as plain and simple as possible, because that's the last question I'm going to entertain on this issue of network, no network. Take your time.
Let me say that it's my understanding that those tablets will be programmed in a way that you put in the data, but you who put it in will not be able to take it out. Secondly, unless you want to talk about it.
No, but I'm telling you, continue to confuse us and then compound the confusion. What does you put in can take out have to do with the question of network and your network? Oh, but even if, but hold on. When you say take it out, what does it mean take it out? What does that mean take it out?
Honest lawyer, nigga.
So, Honorable President, Honorable House, firstly, the network issues in Liberia, we're talking about 40% of the network issues. We have 60% network coverage in Liberia right now. So the 40% we are talking about is we have two ways in which we can implement that. First, we're going to make sure that our gadgets carry with them, every gadget will have a network device. That network device will be able to connect to so we have central points connected, right? So the 40% we're talking about are those areas where are really remote. And those areas that are very remote are those places where the issue of registration is actually not too much issue, because of where our old people are, where the interior people are, and they really don't give us issues with deduplication, with duplicates registering twice, except for the issue where they say they want the cars not too good, then they want to do it all. All right? So what we're going to do is that every gadget in those areas will have a gadget that will be connected to a nearer network system. So that means when you import the data, the nearer network system will connect it, and then it will connect until it gets to the area where there's a wide coverage, and then it's uploaded automatically. So every gadget, again, every gadget is programmed for a specific area only. So you cannot be in, say, Chusa County, say in Montserrat. You cannot in Bon County, all right. So in Bon County, you only have the access to register people only in Bon County, and only for that particular registration center. So you cannot. You have one. If you have one registration center to register people, it's only that registration center will accept those number of persons. You cannot move that. That particular gadget will not be able to move to another registration center to register anybody.
You can move to another place and register anybody, but you don't know that registration center.
I'm not sure.
Information, please. Information.
Is there no information? Is there demonstrable evidence? Is there a sample, a demonstration you can use to further display?
I mean, I'm lawyer, but I'm talking about technical here. No, this is what he's saying. That's why I want to tell you about this. And he's still registered. And you're registered anywhere where we just walk on and put in center.
How long will be there?
I mean, this is serious. It's serious. It was sleep on it. Let's sleep on it.
Presiding Codis.
Presiding, that is you over there. You buy you check. You have plenty.
Our business protect me. Distinguished colleagues, our president, let me say thanks to our witnesses for the brilliant idea thus far. And let me agree with them that if we were to go biometric, it will save the country a lot of money. Perhaps because from the remark made by the witness, she said over 2 years they have been investigating the uses of biometric in our chief. Just give me the opportunity. My observation here is perhaps our witnesses are not technicians, so they are not using the specific wordings or terminology that address the concern raised, because they don't understand. Even if there is no network, there are other devices that can be used, like in the case of booster. Satellite receivers can all be used to generate network to places that do not have network. So if I can advise that owing to the fact that our witnesses are not the technicians, and there are technicians that have gone into doing this investigation and have informed their decision, I want to move, if I may obtain a second, that our witnesses be released. I suggest it, Chief, as I suggest. The United Presiding, give me chance. Give me chance. Give me chance. If I were to advise, Protect me. If I were to advise this body, considering that our witnesses are not the technicians and are not and are relying on technical advisors, our witnesses go back to
based on the explanation so far from network, Mr. Presiding, colleagues, the issue with biometric is very important, and no, you can put it outside and we can put it Mr. Presiding, the issue that is being discussed is very, very important. Again, I will start my discussion by saying that we are in the right path for massive transparency when it comes to our electionary process. Again, let me say hats off to the Commissioner and the entire Commission for initiating the issue of biometric. However, if this entire activity is based on the fact that you want to reduce duplication, then my first advice is we must ensure that the entire country must be done simultaneously to reduce duplication. Because based on what you've already explained, though gadgets will not move around, I can register in Newtown where I'm going to register and go to Sando, because Sando counts almost 1 month after Newtown is done. And nothing stops me. So, again, if it is to reduce duplication, please implore as much resources to ensure that this is done simultaneously. 1. 2. If the cards are going to be used for voting purpose, because if I register with that card, I need to take it for voting. You have not told us if I have 2 cards and I presented this one on election day, what stops me from going to another center to present another one? You might want to look at that. The second issue. Last but not the least, all of our partners, of course you know, have been concerned with the sample specimen of these cards. 2 of the things that I have noted, again I said to be corrected, that I will in your bid document is the holographics on the card and the issue of chip. I have been reliably informed. You don't have to speak to that because it has some security implication. We can meet later on to get the detail. No. Listen. In detail. Listen. I am saying, I have been reliably informed that you have already given the contract up without those information in the bid document being considered. If that is the case, we may want to ask you to go back and reconsider the decisions that have been made, because we don't want tomorrow we fall in the same trouble we are running from. Those are the information I want to give in here. Thank you.
We will take the witnesses' response and I will close on the proposal of the letter on the roster. We will go a way forward before we go to the issue of schedule. Proceed. Deny.
We won't find out.
You always vote to show the people of Bonga.
I want a gadget. The gadget, it was borrowed and latest.
Go ahead.
We are more concerned about this network issue. I hear people talking about Busa. Mr. Our deputy from where some of us come from. Yes. Because some of our district is not connected by network at all. These are places, no, your attention. These are places no network at all. So since we go there, up to the present, those are yet to attend to us. So I'm like, if I listen to witnessing the data when they get to a network area, then they can use it. Here is this. On the day of election, it creates a lot of conflict. In as much as I have a valid card, maybe I'm registered 2 to 3 places, someone might be active not there to vote. And we normally know the procedure here. Normally the electoral process, when someone go there, leave is not in the roster. But have a valid card, all of that necessary security network for any seat. That person can be allowed to vote on that leave, take on an extra sheet. They have happened before. It has happened before. So
the chair feels to see the relationship between inquiry and testimony that the proponent is giving. So you just wait your turn. Let's deal with the issue. Let's deal with Honorable Swakoko. We're going to close on this issue of the network. I'm hoping we get a motion to assign it to the Election Commission for further investigation. And then we'll deal with the issue of scheduling. Inquiry denied.
Now you say that today. Another one.
Inquiry
I hope when Honorable Sibo was talking, was speaking, I hope he took down his notes on what he said.
You want me to read it?
Well, Honorable Sibo, let's take it one at a time. With the first part.
It will not be denied right later. I will.
The first part is concerning duplication. For the purpose of duplication. Point to the fact that we've already consented that we don't have network over 40% not covered. It will mean that it's going to be important for us to do something to reduce duplication. That's the first issue. The second issue is if these cards are going to be used on elections day, what is the mechanism in place that will mitigate me if I have 2 cars from not to be what says that I've voted to stop me from voting somewhere else. And then the last issue I said we don't have to discuss it in detail, but the issue about the specifications in your big document in terms of the holographics and the issue of chip concerning the fact that you've already contracted and the company that have been contracted did not meet those specifications.
I will start from the bottom. I'm not sure of your last assertions, but what I am sure of, in order for the company that was chosen to be contracted, they met the specifications in the big document. Secondly, the issue of multiple cards will be taken care of at the registration point with the gadgets that we'll be using. Once we capture you and you go to a different county and say you're going there to register, you will not enter that system. And if you get there, the system will pick you up. It's going to pick you up. And this is why the biometric is the best solution for trucking.
I found you.
And Honorable Presiding, if I may propose, sometimes when you are speaking to technical issues, if you can see it makes it better. So my proposal will be, at the end of the procurement, and the gadgets are here, we want to do a PowerPoint presentation for you. This is something that we have earlier proposed when we have a feasibility study were done, but we were set to deal with the two committees from the Senate and the House of Representatives who came to the commission, some of them came to the commission to see the process that came out of the feasibility study. And the exact questions that you are asking here today are the exact explanations that were given through a diagram of how from point A to point printing it will be done. So it is there and it is established. May I ask if this is possible for this to happen and we keep in contact with your officer?
It's entirely possible, Honorable Sophico Dennis. I'm going to take the proponent's comments and then we're going to move to the issue of scheduling, and for that I will recognize Honorable.
Okay, thank you.
Scheduling in terms of what?
Presiding, distinguished honorable members. Mr. Presiding, thank you for giving me this opportunity. So to our witness, there are a few concerns that I have, and I was optimistic that a lot of representatives here will have had. Located Honorable Dixon Sigo had already propounded on one of my key points when it comes to the security issue, and I think we're going to discuss that in subsequent time. However, my next cause of hesitancy prompted this communication, Madam Witness. We had midterm election, we had series of by-elections. My concern is that we are introducing something actually new in a big or in a bigger election. We did not pilot this biometric. We had the Lofa County by-election, we had the Bomi County by-election, we had Grand Judah and Nero County, we had that by-election. I feel, Mr. Presiding, that it would have been prudent on the part of NEC to have piloted this biometric system that we're talking. I do understand the merit about the duplication and the tracking. However, there are security consequences, there are cultural consequences, there are social and legal consequences. Now I've heard that NEC has already went ahead to do that. I know that we empower NEC to do whatever they can do in best possible to bring about the election. But however, the time is relatively short, like I met my colleagues talking about this process. So my question to you, there are people in Grand Cook County, for an example, they're not as exposed as people in Montserrat County. So what if you go to a town or village? Okay, in Bamboo County. Okay, in rural Liberia. Okay, in the rural part of Liberia. In the rural part of Liberia. Because as representative.
Oh, you guys are going to my way. That work can be found on that.
As representative of the people, there are cultural implications, Mr. Presiding. Look at the time being short. I believe, and most of the people in rural Liberia, that's a strange kind of voting. It's more digital, technological. It's not manual as what they had. There are some places like in Nigeria when it was introduced, some people had that cultural stuff that they can get a picture, when you get a picture there will be evil spirit. And I'm looking at the time frame dealing with our people in rural Liberia in the cultural side. So this is why I asked her, why wasn't it piloted and that we are using it? Lastly, what most of my people have been asking me and I did not have a clue. Are we doing biometric registration and manual voting, or are we doing biometric registration and biometric voting? Thank you so much.
Just to correct you, all of the manual voting will be doing in rural Liberia. They took our pictures. We have never objected to it being witchcraft. But anyway, please proceed and ask the question.
No, I didn't tell the grand Thank you.
Anything you want to take good, that?
The National Elections Commission has put in place a mechanism for civic and voter registration. Previously, we said that we're working with the Ministry of Internal Affairs to help us handle some of these cultural, social issues as we are talking about. This is something we have done in the past, not because we say now we are doing biometric voter registration. Even with the optical mark recognition, our CVE NGOs at the time were in the field, the local government offices were also part of it. We have town criers, we have people moving from one town to the next town, and even door to door, explaining the process to the Liberian people. One thing I would say, we all opt for 100%. And maybe some of us may not want to hear this, but I beg your indulgence. You will never get 100% of every Liberian to say, I like this thing that you're doing, or I don't like it. Exactly. But we are working towards ensuring that they get the information, and in the hope that with the information that they are informed, they will take that decision to come out to vote for you, the representative. We also hope that you, the representative, will also be out there, especially you have understood and will supply you the messages. Probably you too might be out there helping your constituencies to understand what the message is and to be able to come out to vote. Because I think the ultimate, I wouldn't say worry, but concern is that we should do everything within our power at the Elections Commission to be able to get everybody from 18 years and above to register as a voter and to come out to vote for you to be represented in the House. So we have these things in place. We also consider that, yes, timing sometimes can be a difficulty, but we say the timing we have, we think we can make it, and therefore we have put in place the mechanism to ensure that that happens. We are in the field. We already, through the CB itself, there will be 73 of them in the electoral districts throughout the country. All of these cells, at least this time, we can say they have more membership in terms of what the NGOs used to present to us. So they will be out there and you will see them.
Are you doing manual biometric registration and manual voting, or biometric registration and biometric voting?
We said we are doing biometric voter registration. And we want to put in place, because every machine you bring can sometimes have hitches. This is known worldwide. And we have even heard in some elections some of the difficulty. Meaning that you cannot stop difficulties from happening, you cannot stop challenges. What you can do is to put in place the system and test it and make sure that it works. And where you have challenges, you must have a technical management team to address those challenges. And then you have options. If the machine doesn't work, we have the phones there to capture the data and take your photo.
And the fingerprint?
No, the point of voting.
The response is not clear.
Even the member came out saying that.
On the day of voting, what happens? On the day of voting, is it biometric or manual?
No, this is not an additional. This is just to clarify the last thing she said. Okay.
With the tally sheet,
I asked this question, right? And I said, are we doing this biometric voting cards?
then our people will go back and vote with their same paper and put it back in the basket.
The tally sheet will be generated.
Liberian people listening, go, we receive none of that question. Thank you.
It's just for duplication of registration.
Yeah, so, Honorable Presiding.
Can you elaborate a little bit on the No, man, don't confuse it. The ballot papers, but let me answer the question that was posed to him.
Yeah, so we are doing biometric voter registration. And we are going to use manual ballot paper to vote.
Okay.
The ballot will be there, you put it in.
Last question from you.
So let's get to talk about the timetable. Then we will entertain a motion to send this to the Elections Committee for further inquiry and investigation. Honorable Nimane is recognized. Honorable Nimane is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding. Mr. Presiding, fellow colleagues, we have seen the timetable set by the NEC, starting as far back as 2021 to ending part of October 2023. But we have one concern there, specifically, and that is in all previous voter registration periods, the NEC has always used a period of 1 month, and sometimes even have to add a week or two at the end of the 1 month. There are two things we want to get clear here, Madam Chair, You have reduced the registration period to 20 days. To the best of my knowledge, I stand to be corrected. Two, I really would like to know, Madam Chair, why is it that this registration cannot go on simultaneously as the case has been? What prompted the regional registration now as a new procedure? The last is a suggestion, Mr. Presiding, that in this timetable of the Election Commission, we will want to suggest that the Commission provide one more line that will allow for testing the system you want to have in place. Even if it is for 1 week, we will want to see your will-be registrars physically on the field, testing the equipment, testing the system, whether it's working. We want to see that line included in your schedule. Thank you.
Honorable Presiding, members of this body, I think your reference is to the timetable and how the number of days perhaps that will be conducted for the registration.
And why not simultaneous?
And why not simultaneous? Okay, this is a normal process. When the Elections Commission makes a decision around the conduct of any elections, it develops a timetable of all of the activities that it is supposed to do before, during, and after. Considering the time that we have is how this, the key dates are generated around the date, the October date for the elections. And also too, because of that, is how the number of days or the month per se was determined based on the regional voter registration process. Sorry, I forgot the other question.
Why is it not simultaneous?
Why is it not simultaneous? It's because we have seen in our study tours that it is better if you divide the country up and do it in a regional way. Because when you do it in a regional way, you have a concentration of all the technicians at that particular point. And the fact that you have the technical management aspect of it, you pull all of those resources at that particular point and conduct that process. When you finish, you have a time frame of movement before you go into another region. So we say, if we divide the contract up into 3 regions, it will help us immensely to have the kind of concentration of know-how pooled in a particular area to conduct that process. Basically, that's why we chose this. Let me also say that we have 2,080 voter registration centers. When it's time for Region 1, all of the centers in Region 1 per se will be open simultaneously. For the rest of the country, voter registration centers will be closed because there will be no activity there at that particular time. When they have completed, then we move into the next region. This is also good for logistics and all those kinds of issues. Thank you.
The last.
Chair, 1 second. Chair, 1 second, please.
But you finish with me, yeah.
No, yeah, I just to follow up on you.
Well, let me finish. Then you can follow up.
But she's done.
No.
Oh, you still want to follow up?
No, I'm not following up. But give me a chance.
She's done.
With the presiding, there's a third aspect to my question.
The follow up, and the reason I'm coming back is that you just alluded to the fact that you gave reason of the rationale behind doing regional. Again, for the purpose and intent of this to be very transparent and meet the desire you want, people do regions, again, if all the facilities are up to the level. We just said 40% do not have network. And so, for example, if you take Monrovia or Montserrat, Bombay, Cape Mount, Babu are in the same time frame. When you get to doing the last counties, because most of those counties are challenged with network, it means someone from Monrovia or Montserrat can go there and register, because what mind you, at that point in time, you do not have network to load. The time you take to load, the people have already cheated the system. You do regions where you have all the areas covered in terms of network. And so, Madam Commissioner, again, I'm requesting that you look at this issue of network if you want to get the desired result, because then we will be achieving the system.
Thank you very much. We take this on advisement.
Exactly.
I heard the commissioner answering questions from colleagues as it relates to voter registration or biometric, right? And then manual voting. So how do you track someone that will be voting twice or dual voting? If the man, you register the man on a biometric method, we will still yet to define how can you track the person who registered 2 times. But suppose the man go and manage to vote at a particular place and have already maybe made a way through another place to go and vote. How do we track the dual voting system? And we try to avoid bringing in the biometric system.
Honorable President, again, the reason for which the biometric system is being introduced is to avoid people voting more than one time. The biometric voter registration system will allow one person to one vote. How? The how is when you register, as we are doing now regionally, the data from that region will go along with us through cloud and on every gadget. So when you get to a new registration center where you are registered before, it will flag. It will flag. So you will not be able to register to have another card.
So that's when you require network. The flagging, that's what we need to understand.
Yeah, so as I said, the data will already be within the system. There will be two ways. The data will be in the system and will be on cloud. So when it's in the system, you don't require a network.
So
because it's there, it's already within the system. When you come in and you put your fingerprint in and you are already registered, it will flag out. You come out and say you are registered already, so you're not allowed to register.
Follow up. So if me, my print want to be able to detect, but if I change my name or so,
your fingerprint and facial. So we are doing two
if you try
things.
to save it, it's not going to save because it's duplicated.
It will not even be able to allow you to even vote, to even register.
That's what I'm saying. So before the process in the same.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding. The winners. I saw a metric released by the National Election Commission, and they were informing the Liberians and our partner that the biometric voter registration will be done in segments. Okay, if that is true, I see you nodding your head. What would be the process on the voting day? Are they going to vote in segment? If no, why the registration cannot be simultaneous? You got my question?
We have said earlier that conducting voter registration, first time with biometric equipment, will be done in regions. Doing this regionally will help us to pool all of the resources to the point to be able to have the process conducted in a way to manage it, as we said before. Management of the process in a regional way is a better way to go for first-time users, because it helps you to centralize not just equipment, but expertise needed to get the voter registration done. It's also a good thing that when you have challenges in that region, you can easily resolve those challenges and before we move into another region. That's why we think that is the best way to go, to have a regional.
Okay.
In terms of the elections, we will open all of the 2018 centers for Liberians to exercise the franchise.
Answer question. Answer question.
Okay. You said one part of your question was not answered.
Yes.
Look at Zulu, man.
Mr. Presiding, colleagues, there were three questions in one that I posed, and two were answered. The third one was, or still is, Madam Chair, isn't it possible for the Commission to enshrine a line in the schedule so that it becomes a period to put a system to test In other words, can you have a week, even if it is just a week, that still a very strict, a very strict system, can you do a testing on the field so that that will help to prepare you when you start the outer work, you don't have to, you wouldn't have any problems.
Previously, sir, we said there will be testing of the system before we go to the field.
Our concern is, what if you think the system is working? It's working, it's good. But this is what
Presiding.
that's part of it. But it's, they won't care
Mr. Deputy Speaker, please. The witnesses are telling us that one of the reasons why we have to do this thing regionally is because of logistics. One of the reasons. How are you saying that? Now, he said no. Now, my question is, if we have to do it regionally because we want all of the technical or the technicians be able to focus on whatever issue will be coming up, then my question comes in. During the election day, we could have this election one day. Are we going to have the technicians, the number of technicians, the number of resources, whatever, to be spread all over the country to have this election?
Our presiding, as has been done in the past, we will have the logistics, and normally we recruit election supervisors and all of that group of people under the canopy of temporary staff who are normally in every election deployed to the field. This time is going to be something close to 50,000 Nigerians who normally man the elections. They run the elections in all of the polling places. Yes, that will happen, sir.
Honorable Atara.
That's so fair.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding, distinguished colleagues. I would think that from the explanation of the witnesses, if you say you will collect the data or it will be done regionally to prevent or to help mitigate this situation,
will better understand in a sense that once, assuming that you collect the data from Montserrado and you move into Magibi, so that at the time you are in Magibi, when somebody try to register again that was already in Montserrado and register, they will be prevented. So I think I will take it as that. And I will also think that it will be able to solve our curiosity. But then on the day of the election or at the end of the period when you're about to consolidate all of your data, those that are registered, if you notice that there's someone in the system who tries to register twice, what's there to prevent the person from registering, or what action will be taken? Because I will suggest that automatically the system should reject that person to be disqualified. Because if you keep them in the system to keep one information in the system on the day of the voting, because it is going to be done manually, it's possible that somebody can register and vote in Montserrado and quickly run to Magibi, to be precise, some part of the Firestone plantation that has no network. They will be able to use it, knowing that it is not done digitally, but it's rather done through the manual process. So I think if the system will automatically disqualify you, since it will be an election fraud, it will be put in. So that's my curiosity. How do we mitigate that?
When you talk about mitigating, I'm trying to understand that you're saying if the system does not catch those who commit trucking and they want to go and vote in another place because it is manual. We also have the FRR, the final voter roll, that is normally printed and displayed throughout the 2,080 voter registration centers. Those who are the temporary workers, they will have, each polling center will have a booklet of the final voter roll that you will look in to see whether the person is there or the person is not there.
Thank you.
Would person be disqualified? Okay, we entertain a motion to assign this to the elections committee. What do you think for that person? You disqualify that person?
Yeah. I have one concern before the motion, please. Thank you, sir. So, presiding colleagues, Chair, I want to thank you for the explanation. But I have a concern, and that is from the. I'm glad that this issue is going to our committee, and I would suggest at the end of my presentation that if it's going to the election committee, it would be a good idea for our committee on public procurement to be added because of the concerns I'm going to raise. If the presiding CA and my police see fit. This is a new system, new in the sense that we're using it for the first time. I am concerned about the procurement processes that led to the evaluation of a vendor. I'm sure that we have now. From my small experience, to be able to sit on a panel that evaluates a proposal for a biometric system, the evaluators themselves must have a very good expertise in managing such a system. To the best of my knowledge, our election commission here has never done biometric before. In other words, all of us are being enrolled at fresh. So I would just like to know in the procurement processes who were those on the final that evaluated this biometric system. Because if the selection of the vendor is faulty, I can guarantee that the system, to some extent, would be faulty. My other concern would be to just emphasize what my colleagues have already said. But I will take it from another perspective. In addition to being able to question your technical expertise in biometric management, which I'm very, very interested in, you talk about logistics. Logistics being the very reason why you are demarcating the different geographical locations. What is the cost implication? When you articulate that you probably don't have police, you probably don't have money to hire the required number of persons to do a simultaneous registration. On the election day, you're going to have it together as a matter of necessity. What's going to be the cost implication? Most of my concerns from the colleagues have been more technical, but what's going to be the cost implication into the dissecting, doing it, demarcating it, and then on election day it will be done together. What is the cost implication? Finally, if we experience a fault with this system, in the middle of the game, what is a backup plan? What is the backup plan? Because we are using it for the first time. It's possible you could test it. I know even when we're doing the manual system here, there are many times where the election commission has been called, the supervisors have been called to take some corrective measures. Now we are going into biometric. Just in case we experience some faults along the way, what is the backup plan? And what is again, the technical side of the backup plan, what is the cost implication of this process? Thank you very much, Mr. President.
However, presiding members, what I would say I may not be able to give you the cost implications here, but to tell you that what was allocated to the commission for the voter registration is 20 million. You may recall that the commission had asked for 91 million for the entire voter registration in elections. We did not get that. We got 61. And even in the Lofa County elections, partial, some of the money was taken out of there, almost $2 million to hold the Lofa County by-elections. We are left with some 59 million. Of that, 20 million is allocated for voter registration. The Elections Commission, like the rest of all other institutions of government, conduct procurement processes. And with the commission, we have internal people placed on those panels. There are specifications that come out through a bid document that vendors are expected to meet, and based on those specifications, we evaluate them and we make a choice of who the vendor should be. Part of that process is to have the vendor come and demonstrate physically what the wares are and how the connectivity and all of that thing will come out during the process. This has been done. The issue of having faults with the system, as I explained earlier, any machines that you will use sometimes in your life may have issues, but of course you have the technicians there to fix them. This will be part of our plan. Part of the plan is also to say that because we are using machines, we will do electronic as well as manual processes to get the data. Thank you.
That means we're using a double system?
Yeah,
Having listened to the chairperson of the commission and her able lieutenant respond to the various questions that were asked, noting that there are still need for clarifications and more information surrounding the issue that has been raised. I move by the seconded that the commission be made to meet with the committees on elections and contracts to give a clearer picture in an effort to give the necessary clarifications that this plenary desire. I move to be seconded that be our roadmap. So,
yeah, we move and some of that.
Well, you want the just say that originally down.
Yeah, we move and some of that.
Yeah, we move and some of that matter of consideration be assigned to the committees on elections and contracts for further investigation. Are you ready to vote?
Already.
Or after already?
And I agree. No.
Distinguished colleagues, I will be ready to vote. The movement can consider.
You want me that you have to be creating subdivision.
Yeah.
You have to create sanitary
Honorable Presiding, distinguished colleagues, I'll be ready to vote. If the movement can understand and kind of accept the fact that the witnesses stated that they made presentation before to feed of the colleagues, and now they are asking the same questions that were answered by them. So I would prefer that they come here and do a general presentation before going to the committee. Satisfy everybody because we are all now part of the committee. So they can come here, make my appearance first.
Mr. Presiding, colleagues, in fact, I will work through committees. I will respectfully appeal to my colleague who and I do not have disagreement.
He can't let the chairperson raise the issue. The chairperson said it.
Hello. The investigation that we are seeking is to give us full clarification to the committee. That does not negate the fact that the commission has appealed to or asked us that she will not become subsequently. There are two things, they are not the same basket. So again, I respectfully deny because the committee, the two committees need to speak with the commission.
Are you ready to vote? Honorable jury.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding. To the movement. To the honorable gentleman from Middletown, I'll be ready to vote if we can consider this amendment. Taking into consideration this deliberation, which has both external and internal factors relative to the coverage of network, given the fact that the external factor, according to social science, which is controlled by the service provider should be invited in addition to the committee work to come to plenary to give the reliance of this work that the election commission is going to do. I'll be ready to vote.
Considering the fact that the work is going to be more or less dependent on network issue, I'm prone to accept that when the election commission is meeting the two committees, they will meet the service providers will be present, and that will preclude that they will have to go that way. Then the committee on post and telecommunications will have to sit with us in that meeting. Thank you.
Are we ready to vote? Honorable Mama Briggs.
I will deny you.
I will be ready to vote for my dear brother, my distinguished colleague, well-learned from Middletown. If the movement can carry this, the motion can carry that. When they meet with the committee, as the chairperson said, to test the system, they should also come and do a presentation to the body for us to be inclined with what will be done. I'll be ready to vote if the motion can carry this also. That they can
Again, there are two things in two different baskets. The commission have said that they want to come to display the system. That has had nothing to do with them meeting the committee, the two committees, for the necessary clarifications. Exactly, so they are two separate
To work with the commission on elections and the committee on contracts. If you are ready to do this presentation, please let us know and we'll schedule you for plenary. Thank you very much for your sharing.
You denied it.
Thanks for watching. We stay here in the chambers of the House of Representatives. That was the appearance of the Chairperson of the National Election Commission and the Deputy. They were here providing clarity on the biometric voter registration process that was announced by the NEC and what is the importance. Thanks for watching. My name is Prince Moba, and we stay here and waiting another appearance today in the chambers before the full plenary of the House of Representatives. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye for now. We're going to join you when another team of witnesses appear before the plenary. Thanks for watching.